distributions of individual root, and you have to memorize it, and it should be have a clear picture of it. Because these roots are combinations of the sensory motor. So it is, if it is compressed or dysfunctional, necessarily it will hamper the sensory and the motor functions of the root, which is being compressed. So you must have a good concept about it. So if it is central, your posterolateral or foraminal or foraminal, extraforaminal. Sometimes even far away it is extraforaminal. Extraforaminal one can need to go address this from laterally. ठीक है सर? So radicular pain is a bit different. Radicular pain is the pain the patient will complain the rest pain. Why is it rest? It is less. Why so? Body, why so? Why so? He is getting rest pain here. This person is getting rest pain in this particular type of pain. Why? Why? He says, while I am doing something, I am getting more pain. While I am taking rest, I am getting less pain. Why? Bongi, tell me why? Anybody who can tell? Anybody who can tell? This is basically interdiscal pressure. The gradations of interdiscal pressure is very important. One patient which is lying on the supine in semi-fowler position, the interdiscal pressure is very less, almost 17 psi. It may go up to 300. ठीक है सर? So that is very important to understand that interdiscal pressure. Why patient is getting relief? Why his patient is on rest? Rest because of the fact that the interdiscal pressure is least while it is. Now this interdiscal pressure will mount up once his patient is standing. Next is more than standing is while he is sitting. Now while he is climbing staircase, maximum, and if he is holding something heavy and climbing a staircase, the maximum interdiscal pressure. So gradations of the interdiscal pressure also, that is also important thing to understand. While taking the history, the patient will say that while I am staging something, stitching, cuffing, pain will be there, shooting sort of pain is going to radiation of the limb. And if the patient is taking rest, his supine position, he is getting relief of this pain. The reason behind is that this is called intradiscal pressure, which is least while patient is supine position, and is maximum while going up staircase with holding something heavy. Probably this is maximum your tension, this interdiscal pressure. So gradations is very important. ठीक है sir? You should understand why it is so. So weakness, as I said, not only weakness and sensory and motor, both may involve, and also extensivity of the involvement will depend upon the compressions. So if the root is very compressed, that will go to almost paresthesia, no sensory, no motor, nothing. So power will be zero. And sometimes, even it is seen that sometimes you will find one question will be there, PID is there, everything is there, MRI is there, but patient is now having SLRT positive. Sometimes it may cause because the root may be damaged. Root is completely damaged. It may happen sometime. So it is compressing such a extent, and for a long time the root get damaged completely. Sensory, that part zero, motor, that part zero, and there is no SLRT also because the root is already damaged. Yes, so it may happen so. What I do, as you know, this is one of the important. So this thing you have to be in your mind. So one should understand the distributions of the all dermatome. L1, L2, L3. Then L4. Where is the L4? Then your sensory part. And also one should understand this L4 autonomous zone, medial malleolus, medial side. Yes or no? Then it supplies mostly the extents of quadriceps muscles, but most importantly, tibialis anterior muscle. So sometimes ankle dorsiflexion may be difficult. What is the function of tibialis anterior? Inversion in dorsiflexion. If you do dorsiflexion, and that is most forceful. Plantar flexion inversion is mostly tibialis posterior. So if you are living like this in the dorsiflexion and do the inversion, you will find, and these patients, how can he walk on toes? That is one important thing. One should also try to do the test how he can walk while he is on heel and another is on toe. This also exaggerate these subdued clinical features. Subclinical condition may be also exaggerated. Difficulty in walking on toes, difficulty walking on heel. So these things here you have to understand. Then L4, L5 you know. The dorsiflex mostly extensor hallucis longus, this is important thing. Extensor division longus, autonomous zone in the first plate. There is no much role of the reflexes. Next thing is the S1. That reflex mostly important. S1, sensory lateral part, motor the peroneal group of muscle. So evertor will be most involved power wise. Sensory that is, or sensory autonomous zone is your lateral malleus area. Yes. So these are these things you know, and why it is important. Anybody who can tell me why this SLRT is positive? This is important to exclude the SI joint and other things. So sometimes, see, while you are lifting up the body, SLRT, limb, so you are leaving actually doing movement of the hip also, and to some extent there is SI joint involved. So while you are doing so, if there is pain, originator is from the SI joint or the hip joint, there will be pain. So how to exclude it from that? It is not coming from the SI joint or the hip joint, but it is coming from the root. It is by the Bosling's test or Lesigood test. All the tests are basically to make that part stable and do the pulling of the soft tissue structures posteriorly along with the nerve. So that will exclude this bony component or the joint component, and essentially it will direct towards the root and the soft tissue structures. This thing you have both the importance of the test. Importance. They are pulling. Why you are pulling? You are making the joint stable. But you are pulling, boosting, that means you are pulling the posterior structure along with the nerve, sciatic nerve. That is why he is having pain. That means in any case, that is the point is that pain is not originating from the joints, rather by the soft tissue. Yes, next. So this is important, something to exclude femoral nerve, and this is also exclude to sciatic. So sciatic and which these tests are important to understand. Next thing, clinical, as I said, this is very important to, sometimes it is also confusing, it is true. So then you have to go for the help of your X-ray. Though the X-ray is not important to diagnose the displacement, but it is important to exclude the other pathologies and also to know the contour, so that there is no congenital problems, there is no other body lesions. So that is why it is mandatory to go for. Do not jump to MRI first. It is also written in the textbook and the standard protocol that one should go for the simple X-ray first, then you subsequently add up whenever necessary. It is not necessary to do MRI for all the cases are coming with backache. You subject the patients for your conjunctive treatment, then if necessary you go, otherwise no. So MRI, CT scan sometimes is also important. Those patients who cannot go for CT scan and go for the CT MRI because of implants and the other claustrophobia, other problems are there. So in this case, what next? One is myelogram. CT myelo is also important alternative. Those who cannot go for MRI. Yes? A contrast enhance basically to see any other pathological lesions there in the joints, particularly in the bone. So it will enhance it. Yes. Differential diagnosis, yes. Multiple myeloma, yes, these are important. Important there, one should understand there are, in literature I have seen 800 causes of backache. Italian surgeon just mentioned. Of course, yes, every motion segment he has include all the problems, all the motion segment. That is why it is 800. But summation wise, more than 800 causes of backache are there. So you have to exclude that part. So next thing is the operation, non-operation important thing. One who is coming with the backache and do not subject the patient for operation until and unless this is a case of the Kodai-Ikuna syndrome, which is an emergency situation. There is no point of waiting. You have to go for early. Earlier is better. But on the other hand, which is coming with you, then you have to subject the patient for conjunctive treatment, not less than 6 to 8 weeks time. Then you take the judgment whether the patient is improving, not improving. Not improving, go for the operation. If improving, go for the physiotherapy and the rehabilitations. That is the protocol of treatment, standard. Slender butterfly. Do not rely all these things on the MRI only. MRI show bulbs, but patient may not have this sort of your findings. So it is correlations of the both neurological finding with that of your MRI finding. Do not depend only MRI. The MRI may show missing the patient is comfortable. Do not go for surgery because you are not treating the MRI or the X-ray. You are treating the patient, not the X-ray. So nowadays, important thing is understand that do not give a prolonged rest. This is unjustified. This is say 2 to 3 days, even less than 1 week time. Then you try to mobilize the patients. Prolonged the stage of your rest leads to wasting of the muscle. So the judgment which was there earlier days standard teaching that to give a prolonged rest is no more existed. It's not valid. So today you have to give short rest, but to try to do the rehabilitation, start doing exercise and everything. Soon. No point of giving prolonged rest. That is unjustified. So yes, this is the indication. It is true. So persistent limb pain. Persistent limb pain is not actually choice. Most of the time, there are two things are there. One patient is there which is improving, but not actually a clean-cut case for surgery. Probably in those situations, one can go for epidural and other things. Yes, one patient is a group of patients which is backache, giving treatment, doing fine, do the exercise and rehabilitate the patients. One thing, go. Another patient is there having pain, not improving, rather deteriorating, go for surgery. One patient is improving but not up to the extent, but he's not a clean-cut case of operations. Probably this group of patients one can go for the other modality of treatment which includes steroids, injections in the spine. And there, of course, you have to find out who is the pain generator. Is it the disc, or is it root, or it is a joint? Who is? You have to find out, and then you have to give the steroid over there. That gives good result in selected cases, not all. So after all those persons who are going to do operations, you have to make a basic principle. That's like the gallbladder operations. Whether you go for the open abdomen surgery or laparoscopic surgery, all the same. Only thing that you have to remove the gallbladder as a whole. The approach may be different. So I used to say something is there inside in the earth. You have to dig it out. You can make a small hole and take it piece by piece, or you can make a big hole and take everything out as a whole. So this is like that. So fenestration is only limiting your surgery to the soft tissue like ligamental flavor. If you are not having good, you can extend it. Extend it. Yes. So depending upon the choice, but this is minimum and this is the maximum. So one can go for laminectomy, even sometimes for laminectomy. Laminectomy is different. Laminotomy is different. Laminotomy means your ligamentum flavum is cut, then you extend it, margin. So extend it from fenestration also, or part of the lamina you can cut. Extend it down, up, see the disc. You can do it, you cannot do, go for up, down. Or if you find that I am not getting away, you can go for hemilaminectomy, one side. Sometimes huge this is there, then you have to go extend. So basically thing is that, so depending upon your locations and the other thing, one can go for a minimum surgery, or you can go for a maximum operation. These are all the approaches, how you are approaching, how to make the hole, whether going for a small hole or a big hole. But basic thing is the disc removal is the total. Ultimate aim is to remove the disc. You are getting difficult, you have to extend the appraisal. You are happy with the small, you can do. That's the gallbladder operation. Cholecystectomy means you have to remove the gallbladder. So whether you can approach it small or approach it big, that depends upon you. But the ultimate treatment is the removal of the gallbladder. Just like this. Ultimate treatment is to remove the disc. Whether you can make a small, big, that's a different thing. But your principle is to remove the disc. So that is why nowadays endoscopic surgery is coming up, microscopic surgery is coming up, then also various hole techniques are there. All these things are basically the process, but basic principle is removal of the disc. Whoever is comfortable, you can do it. ঠিক আছে তেতিয়াহ'লে, any question?